That's how fucked up there's a hand, you know.
Got me seeing stars and shit.
How funny! What was you thinking?
You are now listening to the Stoned Conservatives podcast.
Oh, fuck no!
Alright. How's it going, motherfuckers?
Been trolling the Facebook pages, local news, huh?
Oh yeah, I do it all the time.
It's a good way to get likes on the page, I guess. Well, it's the media outlet known as Stoned Conservatives. This is the podcast version that pairs up with the Facebook version. Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Basically, it's a podcast. We're going to go over some latest news, and we're going to talk about stoned and weed stuff and pot-related everything.
Now, disclaimer. This is called Stoned Conservatives, but I'm not necessarily, that way.
Yeah, well, you know what? Neither am I in some cases. Like, I'm pro-weed. I know that you probably shouldn't, defend Jesus all the time. Oh, oops.
Very similar to early podcasts that I had where the intro would just start repeating. I'm like, oh, fuck. Got to get rid of that.
It's my first cast. I know it's going to be a little rough, but I bet you after a while I'll get the audio levels and everything, solid. So it'll be really fun. But anyways, for me, I just wanted to start off with I am a medical marijuana user in the state of New Mexico. I believe that the left has done their part into legalizing it. But in some cases, I just don't really think that they're really doing a good job. Lately, they've been passing bills left and right that just get shut down immediately. Everything that I've seen so far in terms of legalization and success has even came from the right.
What's like a recent weed thing that you can reference in terms of that?
Well, only in terms of that, I can say that in the state of New Mexico, Susana Martinez was the one that pushed the whole legalization, or at least tried to, for medical uses. But lately, she's been kind of turning into a liberal because she's been she's been shutting down bills, and she doesn't want to pass legalization in the state of New Mexico.
Well, wouldn't you say that's more of a traditionally conservative thing to do then?
It could,
because it is kind of muddy that she has the sort of vested interest to keep it medically its own thing, because isn't her husband like a big he's like an owner of a big name dispensary out here, so
yeah, that's what I was about to go through.
It's in their best interest to kind of keep going through that.
Yeah, that's what I was about to get into. I noticed that at least rumor has it that he does own a lot of the I believe it's Minervas or the High Desert Reliefs. I'm not sure which one it is. It could even be Ultra Health. But I have to get into more research about that. But I know for a fact that he does own some dispensaries and multiple ones.
He's a big pusher.
Yeah. And
by the way, I'm Alan.
Yeah, that's Alan. And I'm Cam. And we'll have other guests. And hopefully I get my pal Adrian on. He's pretty good. He's kind of more liberal leaning. And the whole point about this is that the right has always been shut down and for races, homophobia, and all this shit. But lately, we have a president that's a Republican that is for LGBT rights. He was probably the only president ever to even come out and support it during the campaign. Obama and Hillary, they barely support it, even though Obama was the one that passed gay marriage within the last year of his office. But I don't know. I just believe that the whole conservatism idea is starting to change. Back in the days, that was known to be a heavy Christian belief. You'd have, you'd believe in state laws, no abortion things and stuff like that. And I am against abortion, but in some cases I'm for it, in terms of rape or some crazy medical problem. But yeah, other than that, I think the whole platform is changing, and I've been seeing a lot of things on Reddit and on other online forums, and basically, they're pushing a nationalist movement. They're even calling themselves the Lion Party, but
because they can never tell the truth.
Yeah, see, that's already becoming a problem because they can turn it around and call it the Lying Party. But No, I really think there's a new movement coming now, and I think both sides at this point are even for marijuana. I've had people in my family that's been heavy conservative, and nowadays they're acknowledging that pot has some benefits and some medical advances, and that it's a huge industry right now. Even just like pretty much brand new. Breaking news, I guess you can call it. Colorado's legal cannabis revenue hit over $500 million just this year, and 51.3% of it goes through schools, kindergarten through 12th, public schools.
Is that total revenue, or is that what they pulled in from taxes?
That would be from taxes, I believe.
So the total tax amount they pulled in was $500 million?
Yes.
So that's got to make, at 25%, that makes $2 billion in revenue total.
Yeah.
From weed sales. That's a pretty big number, $2 billion.
See, Alan's really good with numbers. He has a podcast called
Potential Problems Podcast. We're actually recording this just about 6 hours before Potential Problems Podcast today. Saturday show, go to youtube.com/stonerbros, ENT. Search it, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play.
And don't you also have another one? I don't know if you're still doing it, but it was the stock market
analogy? The stock market analysis podcast. That thing ended a few months ago.
But hell, that was a good podcast.
We were good at bullshitting. I feel like we knew what we were talking about.
Well, you're
giving financial advice on stocks that we never really looked into more than 5 minutes before starting the show.
But you're getting like real people like into it.
Yeah,
we're
getting followers from like all over the fucking world. All these people in like third world nations that are trying to have startup success with the stock market internationally. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's the whole thing right now is everyone has their own media platform, and that's why I even started doing this, because I figured, hell, I don't have much on my table, and I would like to maybe even like start getting into city, like public city stuff, and
see what's going on at a local level.
Oh yeah, and then maybe even like hopefully be a representative, or maybe even like a lobbyist or something.
All right,
small.
calm down there.
I'm gonna run for president.
You want to be a lobbyist?
Well, I lobby stuff. I'm pretty good.
No, you linger in lobbies and they get told, please leave.
Oh, yes. Well, speaking of lingering in lobbies, what is your opinion about the transgender in the military?
I'm not exactly sure. I mean, it's not something that necessarily affects me. I think, what was the ban? Something like shouldn't be able to serve in any capacity. Does that exclude mechanics? Does that exclude clerical stuff? Does that exclude all the other side jobs? Because if so, that's a little bit fucked up. In my view, I don't necessarily think that people transitioning... I think one of the issues is that a lot of people are concerned with people on the front lines going into combat being on hormone replacement meds.
Right.
But that's not even really something that happens all that often. Most of the time, it's like... It'll be after the transition when everything's kind of normal, because that is a big concern. Is it's tough to get ammo and other support out to people who are in the middle of some shit fighting. Right. So it would be the same for hormone replacement drugs. So I don't necessarily think it's the best idea to ban it across the board. But it's such a small number of people in the military or in the armed forces that are actually trans and having to deal with this. So I think it's a little bit. Of an over worry, I guess.
Right.
But a little bit of an overreaction to say, across the board. I mean, there's plenty of the ones that do already have those positions in other areas of military, like that aren't, battlefront style.
Right.
It's not like there's been any real issues with them. They're just sort of going about their thing.
Yeah, I mean, I really agree with you on a lot of that.
Tweet at me with your disagreement at Citrus in your eye.
Hashtag disagreeing with Stone Conservatives. It's a long one. You have to really type it in. I don't know if it'll even fit the 150 characters.
As I see.
But, I actually really agree with you. I think that if you're in the Army and if you're a citizen in this country and you want to serve, depending on whether or not you're going through transgender transitioning period or whatnot, like if you already like did your thing and you're like now a male or a female, then yeah, you should be allowed to serve, of course. And then, like you said, you should even be able to do like small things, like whether if it's like
control a
within
drone.
states and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly.
Wait, we don't want women flying drones.
They won't turn on their blinkers on the drone.
Yeah, well, I think it's best not to signal if you're, controlling a drone. You have to let people stay in the mysterious wonder of what's going to happen.
And then, but in most cases, I get the whole argument that transgender people, they have a high percentage of suicide rate already. I think one statistic showed that there was almost a 40% suicide rate within the transgender community. But that's a kind of pretty small community, to be honest, so it's kind of that number.
Well, and it's not even necessarily something you could call a community. That's not me, like, tearing it apart or anything, but it's,
right.
For the most part, like, yeah, people with the same sort of thing going on will sort of support each other, but it's still kind of treated as an extremely taboo thing. So I can still see why. It may be some part, mental. It may be some part the reaction they get for this change from people. I mean, it's got to be case-by-case basis. It's hard to just sort of wave a brush across everything and say that it's, all due to one thing or another.
Well, right. And, I've even heard this opinion that, even from someone like me, Alan, I want to be an NBA player, but, obviously I'm not going to be able to get into it. People with
you run like 30 feet and get winded.
Well, that's a good point too. In the army, they don't accept obese people. They don't accept people with bad credit.
They accept obese people, but they put them through training, and if they come out of it not obese, then they make the cut. I mean, it's not that they don't accept them. It's just...
Well, I know. I've read a whole thing that there was basically certain restrictions in the army that they would.
Yeah, you have to be able to do a certain amount of physical activity. Well, and when you're eating the same amount as everybody else and doing the same amount of activity as everyone else, you're not unless you're sneaking food like fucking Private Pile, you're not going to have to deal with fat people after the end. Unless it's some, like, medical issue.
What do you think of the argument about that it doesn't cost as much for transgender people, but they're paying more for Viagra?
Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, you heard about this? So basically that the army is spending more on Viagra than transgender.
I mean, I guess. I'd like to see something behind that.
Well, I would assume that, there's not really that... there's every guy in the army, right? Like, there's a lot of guys.
It's a lot, yeah, but they also have a lot of
Viagra. Why do they need? Well, I guess
they don't buy it. The government doesn't pay for the fucking alcohol.
Viagra,
they pay their people who are deployed, and then they misuse their $18,000 to $22,000 a year while they're out there, and then they come home like, what the fuck?
Where's my Viagra?
Not speaking for everybody, clearly. So what's this live stream you posted on the 25th from Arthur Shaper?
Yeah,
Protest Sanctuary.
Arthur Shopper. He's really cool, man. I don't really agree with him on some things as part of because he's kind of against gay marriage and stuff like that. I'm for it. I think if you're in this country and you should have every right as a citizen to do whatever you want to do, despite a religious ideology or whatever, from the Christians.
What was his live stream about, though? Because he's confronting some lady in a Statue of Liberty costume.
Oh yeah, well this guy this guy is like a street soldier, Alan. He goes around on the streets of
carries guns
of California. Well, he carries knowledge, dude. This guy goes around and he just starts red pilling people left and right, just constantly. Just
you don't have a gun. You don't have a.
Oh shit!
You don't have a gun.
We're packing here. We support our Second Amendment rights here.
It's always fun pulling out a gun.
He should be packing because he's been attacked before. And
me?
Arthur Shopper.
Oh, because I haven't been attacked.
So shout outs to him. I like to follow him. I like to follow this other guy. His name is Harim. He's basically he represents LA for Trump, as he goes around and says that a lot. But he's awesome, man. This guy, he said his story was that he was a gangbanger, and he'd hang around with these Mexican, pro-Mexican gangbang people, all hating America and whatnot. And then one day he realized, he's like, you know what, fuck this shit. And just growing up, obviously, probably having to pay taxes one day, and now he's on the streets, just like Arthur, just going to these events and these protests every fucking day, pretty much, or every weekend out in California. So shout outs to those guys. Those guys are really fucking cool.
Shout goes out.
Shout goes out. And then also shout outs to Mr. I'm probably gonna get a lot of shit from here, but Baked Alaska. I support his point of view. I'm not really...
I love his dessert.
Basically, he was this kind of right-leaning guy, and he would do songs, you know,
was
like
a
Build a
BuzzFeed
Wall.
writer? Or a BuzzFeed contributor, or one of those sites.
He would help work with Milo, I think. He would hang around and do reports and stuff with Milo. But now he's doing his like own thing, and he would do like songs like Build the Wall and shit, and got kind of famous during the campaign. And nowadays, the left has constantly bashed him, calling him a Nazi and all this crazy extremist pro-right nationalist crap. So finally he just woke up and accepted, and he's like, yeah, you know what, I am gonna be a far-right dude. And basically this guy is almost borderline Nazi now, because he has this logo and it looks like a goddamn Nazi logo. But I have to give him props at that point, just only because he's expressing his freedom of speech in this country, and he's going around obviously not harming or hurting anyone by doing so. But then you got like people like Antifa, what is it, Black Hood, or whatever you call it, where those people are running around basically causing terrorism in your state. So
what, like blocking the highways?
Oh yeah, like blocking the highways, hitting people with bike logs, breaking windows.
I did a search for Baked Alaska on Google, and it's
all,
it's all the dessert. Like the whole page is desserts, except for like it pulls up his Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Like,
well, you know what?
First, like it's a couple videos for how to make Baked Alaska, and then a recipe page, and then his Twitter, and then the rest is more recipes.
So this guy, he has his whole ideas.
It looks delicious. He set it on fire.
So his whole idea is he just. That's actually kind of
looks good.
Probably put that as our cover for.
I want to lick that fire.
And he goes around and he just basically says that, hey man, I'm not like a Nazi or anything, but what the right basically says.
That's exactly what a Nazi would say.
Well, this guy, he's saying like, look, you should be proud if you're a white man in this country. You shouldn't be ashamed if you're a white person, just as the sense of like a Black Lives Matter person going, hey, I'm proud to be black and stuff like that. So he's out doing that, and somehow he's getting called a Nazi and all these far-right bullshit fucking ad hominem attacks. And then lately he had a GoFundMe, I believe it was, and he was trying to go over to a rally. It was called Unite the Right, and out of nowhere GoFundMe just bans him, pulls his thing, refunds him, I believe. I'm not even sure if they even gave him a refund. And they said, sorry, you know, you're not allowed to do this. And they gave him like a very vague answer, like this thing doesn't support our guidelines, you know, basically saying, hey, I don't like your politics. But meanwhile, Alan, people with Antifa and pro-black people going around saying we need to exterminate white people is totally, you know, you can go donate to that right now. I guess that's free advertisement right there.
I'll donate. Shout goes out to Amy King, liking the Stone Conservatives page.
Oh yeah, she's pretty cool. She has the same ideology too. I mean,
she thought it was a cool idea to do the page and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's what I was telling you earlier. I think in this day of age, I think the whole conservative Republican point of view is almost becoming a little bit liberal in some sense, because now we're pro marijuana. We're like kind of for gay rights.
That's not as a whole. Well,
there's a large majority that was for gay rights as a Republican, and we got a Republican guy.
Can you look up that stat?
Well, I can tell you right now, Trump was the only one holding up that gay flag during his campaign, but gets criticized.
That doesn't necessarily...
Yes, it does. He even had a quote, and I wish I would have wrote this down. But
saying Trump holding up an LGBT flag on stage doesn't necessarily mean that most people who identify as conservatives align with that ideology. That's just him saying, hey, masses who may not like me...
Kind of like how when Antifa
he's trying to fish from the other
holds.
side. It's like, it's almost wondering if he's going to lose the same amount of people from that side for doing that he'll gain from doing that up to the other side.
Yeah, kind of like how Antifa holds ISIS and communist sign, for...
It's a popular font, but that's not the issue here.
It's the same...
The issue here...
It's the same thing if it's
the issue
in
here
that argument.
is that it's probably... You're going to find people who support it and who support weed and don't support weed on every fucking side. There's going to be plenty of people on the right that say they don't like it. There's going to be plenty of people on the left that say that they don't even like weed. You don't have to support weed to
tell you something?
One side or another. So there's always going to be that. It's never just everybody.
You want to know a fun fact? Did you know that he opened up his own beauty thing?
Who's he?
Trump. He opened up his own that beauty pageant shit just so that he could allow transgender people to be in it. Like, this guy isn't
the Miss Universe thing.
Yeah, he
what
did.
The
This
fuck
guy
are you
is
talking about?
This guy isn't anti-LGBT at all.
But he also, where are you getting that he made that?
Where are you getting this news?
Them?
This is alternative news.
Don't be asking my sources.
You know what? I'll post the sources in the comments.
Yeah.
How about that one?
Yeah, in the comments of this link being posted.
All right, Alan, let's get to it. Weed news.
Weed news.
Bunch of bong hits and shit.
Yeah.
All right, so The Hill reports that it's a news bobber. The Hill Bobby reports that the Senate panel advances a measure to protect medical marijuana laws.
6 inches.
6 whole inches. Did you know that the Republicans own most of the Senate currently?
In the state? Or is this
in
a
the
local
whole country?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the Senate passes an advanced measure to, for medical.
But it has to get more than once it passes the Senate, it goes elsewhere and still has to be approved.
Yeah, I guess go to the House of Representatives or something.
So that all, and eventually it all comes down to who is currently in that position, legislative branch wise. So whoever Trump picked, which was what, Sessions, for now.
Yeah, which will probably be a problem.
Yes.
Because Sessions is kind of old school, and I'm not gonna lie, this guy is a ultra conservative, but he is definitely not a stoned
so he doesn't
conservative.
support weed.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It goes contrary to your opinion earlier.
You know that there's liberals out there against abortion.
Yeah.
So there's fucking stoned conservatives, yo. You like that? I use kids slang to help.
There's also people that are
bring in
just
the
so
younger
pro-abortion. They're like, they just go into the clinic. They're like, do I need to get one today? And they're like, no, you're good.
Well, if
come back next week.
Well, anyway, if this does pass, and I'm hoping that Sessions would probably look through this, the Justice Department will be it won't be using any more funds to prevent states from implementing their marijuana laws. So that's really good.
That's good, but it doesn't change their actual position federally.
Not
just
yet.
saying that they're not going to go after them.
Well, that's why we can't have one side yelling for pro pot and have the other side yelling no pot. If we all kind of get together on this pro marijuana stance, then we can definitely probably change the system, dog. See, I use another slang to help bring in the
gross thing you just said.
To help bring in the younger audience. Anyway, Hemp Fest, August 19th at the Balloon Fiesta here, if you're local, here in Albuquerque.
Is that a Saturday?
Yeah, it could be. It could be if you want it to. I may be there. I might go around and get some interviews. Hopefully I get a car then. Or I'll take the bus up there like a
shuttle.
Like a great citizen.
The shuttle, the parking ride, except for you, it'll be the drop me off at the parking ride.
I'll take the train that goes all the way like 200 miles north, and I'll just jump out the window when I need to get off of my exit.
That's a good idea.
Well, this is free, all ages, but you gotta pay $1 parking.
And they pat you down, and it's a hemp fest. It's not a pot fest.
Yeah, so don't bring your weed.
I saw some people post about it, and they were like, "How did they do this?" As if it's never been done before. Like even a few years ago, what was it, 2011 or something like that? They had the medical marijuana convention at the convention center downtown.
Yeah. And last year
they pat you down going in, so it's not like you're gonna go there expecting to get high. And if you do, you're an idiot. Just get high before you go.
They had CBD dabs, dude. like for anyone because it's not weed.
I was there. They didn't have that.
I thought the mail was last year.
Oh, I didn't know if they.
I might have had that. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, that makes more sense. So yeah, that'll be
Saturday. 19th?
Saturday, August 19th, 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. at 5000 Balloon Fiesta Parkway, Northeast Albuquerque, New Mexico 87113.
Free all ages, $1 parking.
Yeah.
You like that? Bam! New York Times, Daily, and Fox News reports. Uruguay legalizes and regulates marijuana. It's the first South American country to actually have a pot market. Did you know that?
Didn't Venezuela legalize it a while ago?
Dude, this is the first South American.
Yeah, Venezuela's in South America.
I think... No,
it's not North America.
Theirs is decriminalized, I think.
Oh, maybe.
This is a regulated, so you can start making money in Uruguay. Did I say that right? Hashtag, you need to learn English at Stoned Conservatives. You like that? Kind of fumbling there. Bam! Today, did you know this? Did you know this? New Hampshire decriminalizes marijuana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, it won't be legal until 60 days from now.
Well, yeah, it takes time to pass through the system.
You know, the system, man, like a drug test. Takes a while.
Takes a little bit.
Takes a little bit to get clean. Alright, I got one more, I think, Stone News. I'm pretty sure I do somewhere. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Oh, that's it. Okay, cool.
Alright, well, basically that was it of the Stone Conservatives podcast.
For this episode.
Yeah, you know, it was just a start, just a run to see how it's going. If you guys like it, you know, subscribe, like the page at Stone Conservatives. You can email us at stoneconservatives.com. Man, what is that? Boy, there's some shit going on right now.
It's your microphone is loose.
I'm slowly turning into a robot.
A little bit.
One more question. What do you think about Hillary Clinton's released book? And she called it
I didn't know
Happened.
she had a book.
Yeah, it just leaked, and it's called What Happened. What do you think happened in the book?
You want my just cold reaction?
What happened?
I don't know.
I bet you she'll
I
be
guess it's a good
honest, and
thing.
she'll talk about her collusion with Russia with the uranium sales, and
Well, you got to release a book after losing an election to recoup some of that money. So. And then she'll start going on press tours and doing paid speeches and things like that again, regain her money that she had originally.
Did you know that she
fine.
lost over $1 billion during her campaign?
Mm-hmm.
It's
expensive to lose the presidency.
Yeah, well, you know what? Trump put his whole fucking dollar in it, and he won it.
He did it like the thrifty shopper. She was buying all these decorations, and he was making them by hand with like foam balls and gluing pieces of candy to it.
And y'all remember,
she bought hers for $15. He made them for $5.
Trump's not even taking a salary; he's donating it. So keep that in mind.
Because it's $400,000 a year. No one cares about $400,000 a year when you're Trump. When you already have money.
Well, his business is already having a little bit of some problems. Did you see that?
He's got a lot of businesses. He'll be fine.
He's a business
He's
guy.
too big to fail. Remember 2008?
Hell yeah, I remember that shit. I was there, brother.
All right, I'm
gonna
done.
talk all white
Bye.
now. All right, this was Stone Conservatives at Stone Conservatives at Twitter, or at Stone Right. I mean, at Stone Conservatives on Facebook. You can go to SoundCloud. We're gonna have this up, SoundCloud.com/Stone Conservatives.
Until SoundCloud fails.
Yes, and then we'll have it on some other platform that's basically SoundCloud.
Check out Potential Problems Podcast Saturday nights, YouTube live, or iTunes, all that stuff later on in the week.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Alan, for having you on.
I'm eating peanuts.
Hopefully, I'll have you as a host too, because we have some good character. You like that?
By the way,
he's eating peanuts.
what do you think about cum farts?
Cum farts?
When's the last time you had a good cum fart?
I don't think I've ever...
Or given a good cum fart?
I don't think I've ever had one.
That's a shame.
Is that your topic
all right,
today?
until next week.
We're stone conservatives. Get out there, stay high, and stay right. You like that?
Keep fucking.
Keep fucking.